Lesson 2, brand measurement. There are several methods brands can use to value what has been really an inherently intangible asset, and that is their brand. 5 things that we'll discuss. We'll discuss how insights into brand health allow marketers an idea of their digital marketing performance as a complement to or even a replacement for sales lift measurement and some of those other business outcome quantifications. The full range of brand equity measures can be used by brands to assess the health of the market perception of their brand and products and the depth of their consumer relationships. There are several methods used to value a brand, an inherently intangible asset, each differing in perspective on value and the inputs used in its calculation. Each method for quantifying brand impact has strengths and weaknesses and should be taken into account and then managed accordingly. And then finally, insights can show how digital marketing performance complements and replaces measurement of more tangible assets, again, such as sales lift. Again, we're looking at the 4 different categories of measurement. We are focused on brand measurement at this point. Some of the more important and relevant measures of brand include the things that you see here. Viewability. Are consumers actually seeing the ads that I'm presenting? And are the right people seeing them? What is my unique reach? What are the actual humans, the people that I am reaching? And how am I counting them uniquely rather than serving the same ad over and over to the same kind of consumer? Cross-device becomes an important measure, particularly in this time and age when everyone has multiple devices. Am I reaching the same consumer across multiple devices, or are these new and unique and different consumers? Kind of borrowing from the way that television was measured as well is the idea of audience and TRPs, total rating points. How much of the population that I am seeking to address is actually seeing my ads. Audience and TRPs help us there. Fraud monitoring, we'll talk about this later on, but the digital aspect of advertising has created a number of loopholes that can be exploited for fraud. And so monitoring that and protecting brands is another key measure for any brand to consider. Verification as well, which answers the question, was my ad seen in the right context? So was it served around content that I agree with, that I think complements and is consistent with my brand image, or is it something different? That is another measure that brands are very interested in. And then finally, and probably arguably most importantly, are these idea of brand lift. And these are traditional measures that will look at various elements of a brand and give us some kind of quantified value there. Those brand lift measures are things that you've probably heard of before. They will range from awareness, so are people seeing and do they understand and recall my brand? There is recall, which is, are they remembering the ads that I'm showing them? Are the things that I am doing in my marketing effort having impact for them? There's a third called consideration, which moves beyond just being aware and even recalling to saying, yes, this is a brand that I like, I am interested in. I would consider buying that brand, into even a deeper relationship, which is favorability. This is the brand that I choose. I favor this brand over others. And then finally, and the ideal measure for any brand is the idea of purchase intent. The next time that I need a product in that category, I'm going to buy that brand. These are all ways that brands can measure consumer response to their brand, and all measures that brands will seek to adjust, to improve through their marketing. There are a number of other approaches that brands can take to put value to that again, inherently intangible asset, the brand. One approach is called assessing attributes, kind of looking at various attributes of the brand and trying to quantify that. Brand equity looks at a blend of a number of different market positions to come up with a value there. Valuation seeks to take kind of a financial model approach to what the brand would, as would algorithmic and royalty relief too. Both of them using really sophisticated, quantifiable inputs that will ultimately lead to a brand valuation. And finally, the idea of Net Promoter Score, which is really an assessment of, in the basic sense, of consumers who would say, on a scale of 9 to 10, I give that brand a 9 or a 10. I am an advocate for that brand, and it will look at that as a percentage of all consumers out there to give the brand an idea of how valuable it is. All of these assets, all of these approaches, again, are seeking to put some sort of quantified value around the brand's brand value, something that has traditionally just been a very intangible asset.